Welcome to another edition of Say It Loud. My name is Lord Harisidasari. What I'm holding here is a ticket which is Netherlands bound. Now, I'm holding this because a couple who had boarded a KLM flight were, for want of a better word, thrown off or denied the flight because they were campaigning or trying to judge against KLM's current directive about 7 vegetarian meals on African flights. My name is Lord Harisidasari. When we return from the break, we'll be speaking to one of the victims, the husband, actually. He'll be telling us exactly what happened last night, which was September 15th. Do stay, the conversation continues. Welcome back. My name is Lord Harisidasari. Now, today our guest is Nico van Stadenijn. He, together with his wife, were aboard the KLM flight bound to the Netherlands. They were supposed to arrive there tomorrow afternoon, actually. But let me just ask him himself. He's here and he's going to tell us exactly what happened and everything that has to do with it. Nico, thanks for speaking to us. Now, tell me, Ghana did a story about the fact that you and then your spouse got blocked from flying the KLM flight because you were sharing some tracts and whatnot about the KLM directive. Give me more details about that. How did this entire thing happen?
First of all, I'm a frequent flyer, and KLM is my favorite airline.
Okay.
What happened is that last week I read in the international news, but also in Dutch news, that KLM had the intention to go green and had the intention to only serve vegetarian meals on its flight.
Okay.
Except for some destinations where people are big meat lovers, like destinations to Texas, to Argentina, and that kind of things.
Okay.
What I did was actually a joyful action to make clear to KLM that African people, Ghanaians, also love meat. A Dutch person will buy 3 times 100 grams meat for his family. A Ghanaian buys 2 kilo or half an animal at the same time.
Okay.
We also love meat. On top of it, KLM flights are already, partly through taxes and partly through their booking system, more expensive than 2 other flights on a 6-7 hour flying destination. So if you already pay more, you can easily serve us meat on the flights.
Okay.
So what I did is I printed at my own cost 2 banners and 300 leaflets to make the Ghanaians aware of this. And what I actually wanted is that some of the reactions would reach KLM and made them aware that African people also love meat, and try to get them away from the plans to go vegetarian on African flights.
Okay.
We had the attention, what I hoped for. What I didn't hope for is not even me being thrown from the flight, but the reactions in Ghana, who are in the majority very, very negative about KLM.
Okay. What time was your flight?
I was supposed to fly 10:10.
Okay.
And what happened was we were seated in our seats already, row 18. The purser came to us and asked if we were the people spreading the lies. I said, what lies are you talking about? Yeah, that we're going vegetarian. I said, well, here are 3-4 websites, even 2 were from the Dutch press, that KLM is going veggie, and that's why I'm trying to make the people aware that they shouldn't do that on African flights, because you're going to lose a lot of customers. And she was laughing a little bit about it, and she said, what is this next to you? And that was a rolled up banner. And I said, that's a banner, and I want to take a picture with my wife holding the banner.
Okay.
She said, that's not allowed, and I'm confiscating your banners. I said, fine, but beware what will happen. What is supposed to be a positive action to try to change the minds of KLM management is going to be a negative action, because tomorrow morning I'm going to the press in Amsterdam that I couldn't take a picture with my banner, and it will give a lot of negative reactions for KLM. And she said, "Are you threatening me?" I said, "I'm not threatening you. I'm only telling, keep this positive. I'm not hanging the banner anywhere. I'm not opening it even. But my reason for doing this is that I want to stop KLM from these bad intentions. And if I can't do it in this positive way, by all means it will end up in a very negative way, because I still think KLM shouldn't cancel meat and chicken and fish on their flights, especially not on their international flights." She walked away. She came back 2 minutes later with the captain, and the captain said, "I've been threatening the stewardess." And even the person sitting on the other side of the aisle said, "That's absolutely not true. He never threatened her. They've never exchanged harsh words. They were very polite." The captain and I said, "Yes, and all I wanted to do is open the banner." She said, "I couldn't. She will confiscate it." And I said, "I was waiting for her to come and take the banner."
Did the captain
The
say
captain said,
anything about...
"I'm not going any discussion with you. You're leaving my flight now." My son is a pilot, so I've been a frequent flyer for many, many years with 2 different airlines, so I know how it works on board of a plane. So I said, "No problem." We packed our things and we walked out.
What time was
No
this?
protest on the flight, nothing. That was just before takeoff.
Wow.
Whilst I walk out, my wife is speaking perfect Dutch, because she lived in Holland for 16 years. She heard that stewardess telling her colleagues that we've been threatening her and that's why we are removed from the flight. So my wife turned around and said, "Who has been threatening you? Because nor my husband nor I have threatened you. Don't lie about what is happening to justify your mistakes." Then we continued going back to the check-in area. We opened the banner, this time really out of protest, and took a picture. The airport police came, we explained the whole case. They themselves were saying, "Yeah, that's very bad. They think Africans don't like meat, and they think we are poor, and that's why we are not used to meat. We also love our meat." The guy was a Northerner, so he loves his chichinga. And so we ended up joking and laughing a little bit. I have to say, the KLM station manager really did his best to get us on the next flight of Air France, who was delayed and was leaving, I think, a little bit over 1 hour after that.
Okay.
But unfortunately, the flight was fully booked. So he is hopefully at this moment, if KLM management doesn't stop him, working on getting back to Amsterdam. Because we were supposed to arrive 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock in Amsterdam, have breakfast, flying to Sofia, where my wife has a medical checkup tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock. But there's no way we can make that anymore.
I see. You stated that you printed 300 leaflets.
Yes, A5, small leaflets, just to make the customer aware. And it ended with the text, "Long live KLM, long live Ghana."
Okay.
So there was no bad intention in doing that.
Your exercise. Where did you distribute these leaflets?
Before boarding, the waiting area.
Okay, and you distributed all 300?
Not all. Some are still on the flight. They arrived in Amsterdam this morning, all alone.
Okay. Okay. Nico, you noted that you read the reports about 2 weeks ago about KLM's intention.
Yes.
But when you, in your engagements with the crew aboard the flight,
They denied it.
They denied it and described it as lies. I mean, before you printed out the leaflets, did you have some form of conversation or reach out to KLM information to ascertain its as a fact?
What I have done, you know me, I'm writing articles for several outlets in Ghana, for newspapers. I've been on TV programs. I always do my homework. I never jump into something without verifying my facts. And last week there was a big article in the largest newspaper in the Netherlands, where KLM also denied that it was true. But research into KLM stuff and even flying KLM stuff confirmed that it was true, and there were forces in KLM really pushing this through, and there were other forces trying to stop it. And the KLM partners, but that's all hearsay.
Okay.
The KLM partners are also not happy with it because they think they can lose connecting flight customers. So KLM said now, we are not introducing vegetarian food for the moment. That was the last comment.
Okay. And you also noted that before getting you off his flight, the captain refused to hear your side of the story.
Yes, but I understand him. A captain is like a judge and the jury and the police at the same time on his flight. And he was, I don't say he shouldn't have listened to my story, but he was in his right to ask me to go off the flight. That is in air law, and that is what my son informed me about. That's his right. And as I said, there were no harsh words, there was nothing going on, so I don't think it was justified. And I think he was wrongly informed by the purser, or he just didn't want any hiccup or steering up in his flight.
How did the entire exercise or experience make you feel?
I'm still a KLM fan, and my whole target, my whole reason for doing this is, number one, a lot of people, not only in Europe but in the US and other countries, don't have a clue what goes on in Africa. They don't have a clue about our culture, and they take this type of decisions not knowing how we are thinking about it. So my first reason was, don't do this, because Ghanaians who can afford flying and can afford flying KLM, they love meat. We all love meat, just like people of Texas and Argentina. So don't take that decision. And if you take it, leave us on the list of countries where you serve meat. That was my whole intention. And my intention was not to damage KLM. And I'm sincerely hoping that I can fly tonight on KLM, and I've got the attention I wanted. The negative attention is something that I never wanted. I read this morning, I hardly slept tonight because my brains kept on keeping me awake whilst the body was tired. But I read some very negative, racist remarks of Ghanaians on these decisions of KLM, and that was never my intention. And I ask your listeners and readers to stop that, because I think the whole thing went out of hand by misinformation of only one staff member. And the person who walked in the waiting area and started to try to take the leaflets away is a Ghanaian, or I think he's a Nigerian, working for KLM. I think he took the wrong decision. He never came to me and asked what is going on. And I think the actions of the purser of KLM were based upon his assessment. But that's guessing. And so please don't come over KLM like they're the worst people in the world. It's a fantastic airline. And we missed our flight, and we missed my wife's doctor's appointment. And we had to cancel. Your wife had
a doctor's appointment?
Yes, Friday morning, for a small operation. And because we are not living here, our daughter is a medical doctor in Bulgaria. That's why we mostly have this kind of things in Bulgaria. So,
with what has happened now, are you still going to carry on your campaign or crusade to educate the African population in Ghana?
It's not a crusade. It's not even against KLM.
No, to
It's
bring
against a
the awareness.
worldwide trend
Okay.
to make the whole world vegetarians. And I think the main reason is not pollution of CO2, pollution of animals.
Okay.
Number one, there are people who confirm that, and there are people who are vehemently denying that. But human beings, when you were in school, you have the round circle of things you have to eat, and meat is one of them.
Yeah,
It's unnatural not to eat meat, and I'm a human being who also loves his meat. So it's not only here; it's all over the world. The main reason is that when the medical science improved, we were too slow in trying to reduce the number of children we were having all over the world. And now the ones who are alive are the victims of that by making unnatural adjustments to make sure we are not killing Mother Earth.
Okay. All right. We're taking a short break here. We've been speaking to Nico van Stadenijn. He's been telling us his experience aboard the KLM flight whilst trying to educate some of the passengers and other Ghanaians and the crew about the directive or the pending directive by KLM to scrap meat of African meals on their flight. My name is Lord Harris. When we return from the break, we'll wrap up.
Hi, my name is Nanama McBrown. I'm proud to be part of Ghana Web Road Safety Campaign. Please do the right thing. Save a life. Brim.
Welcome back. You're still watching Say It Loud. Our guest today is Nico van Stadenijn. He was thrown off the KLM flight because he wanted to educate some passengers and essentially those around him about KLM's directive to go vegan in their African meals. I am going to read some portions of a news article published by Palipan and on the KLM scrapping of meat. It says here that KLM scraps meat from menus airline goes full vegetarian, and says that KLM has decided to take meat and fish from its in-flight dining menus and goes full vegetarian in a bid to become a more sustainable airline. And it further goes on to say that the news about KLM going meatless was reported by Dutch national Daily Telegraaf, and Nico cited this earlier in the conversation. And then they cited KLM's director of customer experience, Kraken. Says he told the largest Dutch newspaper that the move to vegetarian food was motivated by the airline's wish to become more sustainable. Mr. Kraken said sustainability is an important theme. We constantly look at trends in society and adjust our menu development accordingly. Right, and so it goes on and it cites him again where he says that almost nobody noticed it, that we no longer serve meat on European flights, and it will be rolled out in the coming years across the rest of the network. So from this, I get a sense that it hasn't been rolled out yet. Okay.
All about.
Okay, so what Nico is showing me here are the publications by some
International
Dutch,
and national newspapers.
some international newspapers, including the
Flyer
Dutch
magazines.
as well. Great. Now so your input here is that KLM shouldn't deny Africans or Ghanaians who can afford or would still want their meat in their meals.
If KLM continues, number one, in business class with meat and fish and chicken, and they continue to flights where they are scared to lose customers, Argentinian people, South Africans, people from Texas, they are meat lovers. They know for sure they're going to lose customers. I wanted to warn them, include Ghana, Nigeria, all other African flights on it, because Africans are also meat lovers, and
Yeah.
you will lose a lot of customers. That's all I wanted.
Okay. That I mean, after you noted that you put it out there to get the attention
Yes.
of KLM, and you said that some personnel have reached out to you to try and get you another flight, right? Moving on, what else would you want done? Do you want an apology? I mean, with everything that you've gone through, what exactly do you want there?
My only target was to try to make clear to KLM not to cancel meat on this flight.
Okay.
And I think and I hope with all these reactions, because it's all over Ghana, it's starting to come in Holland. I had phone calls of 2 TV stations in Holland already by 6 o'clock this morning. I hope that KLM realizes this is a wrong decision. And right now, you have a choice. Not because of COVID, but pre-COVID, you were always asked, do you want chicken or fish? You want meat or fish? If you wanted vegetarian, you had to order a special meal that you wanted a vegetarian meal, or a halal meal, or a kosher meal, or a gluten-free meal.
Okay.
Why don't you just leave it like that? So people who want to be vegetarians can be vegetarians. And that's all I want, that I have a choice. I never go to a restaurant where they don't sell alcohol. I'm not a child. I can decide myself, number one, if I want a beer with my meal or not. I want the choice. People have to have a choice. So that was my whole intention. I'm not looking for anything else. And as I said, the country manager is doing his best. I don't know yet if he's going to make it, because he is under management from the Netherlands. But otherwise, I have to go to other airlines.
Okay. All right. So, Nico, with the experience that you went through, how did your wife take it?
My wife loves meat just as much as I do, and she also knows you can't protest against it. But she was the one hearing the stewardess saying that we threatened her, and she got angry about that. And the rest, she's not blaming me for spreading these leaflets, and she was even spreading them as well, trying to explain to people what KLM wanted to do. They haven't done it. The only reason they are doing it at the moment is that they only serve one meal for everybody, which is a vegetarian meal. It's not a choice because of COVID. And otherwise, with more meals, you have more chances to infect somebody.
Yeah.
But she is also taking it. But we had a lot of calls from Ghanaian friends, and who were saying, "Don't they know in Ghana we love meat?" So we've both had a lot of attention this morning. Our daughter was very disappointed. She just graduated as a medical doctor, and she was ready to pick us up from the airport. So now she has to wait 1 or 2 days, depending on when we are able to get there. She canceled the doctor's appointment for us, for my wife already.
Okay.
So no hard feelings against KLM, but I just prefer to fly KLM, and otherwise I have to look for another airline.
So in the event that that doesn't come through, doesn't pass through, I mean, they still go ahead with the vegan meal. Are you going to stop flying KLM?
That one I don't know. That one I don't know, because a lot of times KLM Amsterdam is our transit points, and we can fly through other transit points as well. Weird enough, and I don't know how it came, but one airline who is flying on Ghana already contacted us and offered us a ticket free of charge on their airline if they could get the publicity. And I refused.
Why did you not take it?
Because I don't want to damage KLM, because I know for sure it's a marketing investment. They want to promote their airline at the cost of KLM, and I think the mistake of maybe 1 or 2 employees of KLM don't deserve to be dragging the name of the whole airline down. That's not needed, and that was never my intention with the whole action we took.
Okay. So what happens if or when the country director, the KLM country director, is unable to secure another flight for you to the Netherlands?
Just to be sure, I already booked another flight, and I have to pay the flight within the next hour to be able to leave today.
Still with KLM?
No.
Okay.
Because I don't know what the decision of KLM management is. Maybe they are insulted and they ban me from booking KLM flights. And you know how it is, if you misbehave on a flight,
They can blacklist you.
you become on a blacklist. So number one, we didn't misbehave at all. So I don't think they have any right to put us on the blacklist. I don't think they'll be doing that. I hope they won't do that. But otherwise, from now on, I'll take another airline.
Okay. Thank you so much for sharing your
You're welcome.
experience with us. I hope Mrs. 1009 is doing better.
Yeah, she's okay.
So that's all we have on today's edition of Say It Loud. My name is Lord Harris Idwasari. We've been speaking to Nico van Stoudenijn. He was victimized, for want of a better word, on a KLM flight last night when he attempted to fly to the Netherlands. Now, his offense was that he was distributing pamphlets or leaflets educating some passengers and other Africans who were going to take the flight about KLM's directive or pending directive to scrap meat of their meals served in the economy class. He says he's still considering his options if the country director doesn't come through and help him secure another flight, because they do need to get home. We'll see how that goes, but I must say that he's also the Bulgarian consul to Ghana and a board member of the State Enterprise Commission.
Former. Yeah.
Do join us for our subsequent episodes on Say It Loud.